to be fixed. And I don't give a damn if I get fined because that shit cheap. And I am tired of this shit because I've been nice and I've been humble with it, but I am tired of it.
That is the raw, unfiltered sound of a woman being systematically broken by a machine designed for one purpose: to protect its prized asset. The mainstream sports media, in their infinite and complicit wisdom, wants you to believe this was a simple tantrum, an unprofessional, emotional meltdown from a player who can't handle the pressure. They are feeding you a comfortable lie, because what you just heard wasn't a loss of control. It was the first shot fired back in the WNBA's covert war against its own superstar. Tonight, we expose that war. This is the story. They have spent millions to suppress the calculated multi-front systematic destruction of Angel Reese, all to build a golden throne for the league's chosen queen, Caitlin Clark. We are going to connect the dots and show you the undeniable proof of how the league office, the game referees, her own coaching staff, and even her teammates became willing pawns in this vicious conspiracy. And we're going to put a name and a face to the media's chief assassin, Stephen A. Smith, the man they sent to execute her character on national television. To truly understand the depth of this conspiracy, you must begin where the wounds are most visible, on the hardwood, under the bright lights, where the cheating can happen in plain sight. This isn't about a few bad calls, or the typical home court advantage. This is a targeted, statistical pattern of abuse, a directive handed down to the referees to neutralize Angel Reese by any means necessary. Look at the evidence. We're not dealing in feelings, we're dealing in cold, hard numbers. Take the game against the Minnesota Lynx, a nail-biting 80-75 loss for the Chicago Sky. In that entire contest, Angel Reese and her team were awarded a pathetic 8 free throw attempts. The Lynx, by contrast, marched to the line 17 times. This isn't just a discrepancy, it's a declaration of intent. It's the league telling you who they want to win. They are giving her opponents a license to hack, shove, and assault her in the paint, knowing the whistle will never come. It's a psychological assassination designed to make her question her own game, to make her hesitate, to break her will, and Angel Reese knows it. This isn't some paranoid fan theory we cooked up. This is her reality, just 48 hours before the clipboard incident that the media feasted on. She stood at a podium and laid bare the corruption for all to see. Listen to her words. This is the sound of truth hitting power. I don't give a damn if I get fined, because that sizz is cheap. And I'm tired of this sizz. That is not the whine of a diva. That is the roar of a warrior who knows the fight is fixed, but refuses to lay down her arms. And why is it fixed? The answer is as simple as it is ugly. The WNBA is running a protection racket for Caitlin Clark. Every time Clark gets breathed on, a foul is called. Her path to the basket is sanitized, cleared of all obstacles by league decree. Meanwhile, Reese is being treated like a human pinball, and the referees are instructed to swallow their whistles. It is a disgusting double standard, and it is no coincidence. In a league desperate for a singular marketable hero, they have chosen their golden goose, and Angel Reese has been cast as the wolf at the door, the villain who must be slain for the fairy tale to come true. But you can't just rig the game on the court. That's too crude, too obvious. To truly control the narrative and cement your chosen hero, you must poison the well of public opinion. You have to assassinate the character of the hero's rival. For this dirty work, the WNBA activated its most powerful media asset, Stephen A. Smith. His televised evisceration of Angel Reese wasn't sports analysis, it was a public execution, a hit job ordered from the highest levels. He meticulously painted her as an immature, jealous child, citing her tantrums and Twitter meltdowns as a stark contrast to the perfect, unimpeachable professionalism of Caitlin Clark. He came locked and loaded with the league's approved statistics, a cudgel to beat her with. He informed the world that games featuring Clark average a staggering 1.178 million viewers, while games without her crater to a mere 394,000. It was a surgical, devastating, and entirely dishonest attack. Because what if I told you those weren't Stephen A. Smith's organic thoughts? What if they were his assigned talking points? Industry insiders whisper that Smith's diatribe was directly orchestrated by WNBA leadership. It was a message delivered through their most loyal and loudest media soldier: get in line, or you will be publicly humiliated and destroyed. The timing was too precise, the statistics too perfectly curated. This was a coordinated strike. The league provides the ammunition, and their media assassin pulls the trigger. They manufacture the narrative of a bitter and jealous Angel Reese, a narrative so potent it deliberately stokes the flames of racial tension to distract everyone from the real story.
It's not about black and white. It's about that white player and that black player. Why? Because of the history that they had before they came to the WNBA.
They want you to think this is about black and white. They want that debate because it's messy, it's divisive, and it keeps you from seeing the truth. This is about the league's chosen one versus the one they are trying to bury. It is a classic diversion, and it is working perfectly. But the most unforgivable, most sinister front in this war isn't being waged by referees or media personalities. It's being waged by the people who see her every single day. The betrayal is coming from inside her own house. Let's return to the scene of the crime, the clipboard incident. On July 8, 2025, in a tied game with 29.9 seconds on the clock, Angel Reese violently slapped a clipboard from the hands of assistant Ann Crosby. The media presented this as an act of petulant rage. They didn't tell you the truth. They didn't tell you that this was the explosive culmination of months of internal sabotage. Sources inside the Sky organization allege that Crosby had been systematically undermining Reese's authority for months, consistently pushing strategies in team meetings that were designed to isolate her from plays and marginalize her on the court. That slap wasn't an attack on a coach. It was the desperate act of a leader fighting back against the systematic disrespect and sabotage happening in her own sanctuary. And just when you think the betrayal couldn't cut any deeper, the organization itself picked up a knife. On September 3rd, Angel Reese did what every fan wants their star player to do. She demanded better. She told the Chicago Tribune, "I'm not settling for the same set we did this year. We have to get good players." This was leadership. This was a cry for help. This was a plea for the front office to match her historic effort. And how did the Chicago Sky, the team she was carrying on her back, respond? They publicly humiliated her. They suspended her for making statements detrimental to the team. But here is the smoking gun. Here is the final, irrefutable proof that this was a malicious, premeditated hit. When they issued this new suspension, she was already serving a separate one for accumulating too many technical fouls. Fouls called by the same biased referees we've already discussed. They punished her twice for the same period of time. This is unheard of. This wasn't discipline, it was a calculated character assassination, a public flogging to punish her for speaking the truth about their failures. And the poison seeped into the locker room. Veterans Ariel Atkins and Rachel Banham convened a players-only meeting that sources claim was an ambush, an intervention designed to break her spirit and force her into compliance. The proof? Teammate Rachel Banham's exhausted admission that she was so over all this, a clear signal that management had successfully turned the locker room against the one player fighting for them all. They have attacked her on the court, assassinated her in the media, and betrayed her in the locker room. And through it all, what has she done? She has put up historic numbers. She is averaging 14.7 points and a league-leading 12.6 rebounds. She has racked up 23 double-doubles. She is breaking WNBA rebounding records while dragging the corpse of a 10-30 team that is actively working against her. And away from the cameras, this supposed villain is a young woman so overwhelmed by the hate that she was brought to tears by personal messages of support from Chicago fans after her community work. A daughter so full of emotion, she was overwhelmed seeing her grandmother attend her first WNBA game. This is the human being they are trying to destroy. They have thrown everything at her. The rigged games, the media assassins, the backstabbing from her own front office. They have tried to paint her as a villain, a scapegoat, a pariah, but they have all failed to break her spirit. So the question is no longer just what the WNBA will do next. The question is, how far up does this conspiracy go? And what happens to the entire league when they finally realize that in their desperate attempt to build a throne for a queen, they have created a martyr? And martyrs have a funny way of burning kingdoms to the ground.